I've just finished a year of being 34. I'll be 35 tomorrow, so it's time to do an annual recap. I'm doing these so you can learn what it's like going through your 30s. Some of the lessons you might learn along the way, maybe they're different, but I hope you can get some value. So the weirdest thing is that this year, everything in life is really good. My work life, my personal life, my own health is getting back into shape. Like everything is kind of working and it's incredible. I kind of keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, like what's gonna change, what's gonna stop, but actually I've been putting in the work for 15 years to build this life and now it's actually here and it's earned and it's working and I'm so grateful for everything that's allowed it to be that way. I'm once again in Mallorca. I'm in Palma de Mallorca right now, which is where I used to live. I've promised myself a long time ago in 2013 that I would spend every birthday here. One of the things about being here is there's lots of play. I can ride bikes, I can go see friends, I can do all sorts of stuff, and it just allows me to really enjoy life. And that kind of gives me this chance to do this reset and like reconfigure what did I learn over the past year and what am I hoping to achieve over the next year. So it's a really good chance for goal setting and kind of dreaming and scheming. So yeah, life is good. Personal, work, friends, and my fitness, I'm getting back into shape. Everything's kind of moving along. COVID was such a weird, dark time, and now kind of coming out of it almost, it's really life's starting to feel pretty normal, and I'm really fortunate to have been able to see a lot of family and friends over the last few months. Catch up with my family in Canada, who I haven't seen in a couple of years, catch up with my family in Norway, who I hadn't seen in 2.5 years, and catch up with my friends here that I haven't been able to spend enough time with. Having family and friends spread out around the world was really difficult during COVID because like FaceTime calls just get a little bit exhausting after a while. So one of the things that COVID really taught me, and I think a lot of us, was that let's not postpone joy. You know, we don't know how long we've got. Things could change in a heartbeat. So let's do the things we want to do now. A lot of people started having kids or moved to the suburbs or got engaged or got married or whatever that thing might have been. A lot of people moved to New York City. People kind of fast forwarded a lot of their actions, and I think that's really great because it kind of everyone's grabbing at what they want, and I think that's awesome. So one of the reasons that life feels so good right now is I've really been focused on like these 4 pillars of life. A 4-pillared stool can stand really well on its own. You lose one leg, a 3-legged stool can still sit pretty well. Or you could think of it as a car, right? A 4-wheeled car, really stable. Tricycle, 3 wheels works too. A bicycle, you can survive on too. Unicycle, you're going nowhere fast. So these 4 pillars are, there's your work, there's your relationships, there's your physical home or sense of safety, and then there's your personal care, self-care. This is one that I never really thought much about before. So in your work, ideally you can get that ikagi concept where your vocation is, something that fills you with passion and purpose and you're good at it and it does something good for the planet. Like that's what everyone wants. Not everyone has that, but if it's at all possible, I think it's something we should all strive towards. Then there's your relationships. That can be your primary partner if you have one, if that's your cup of tea, or it can be your friendships. It's really just having a support network of other people to lean on in those times when you need some help, because we all do. And there's the self-care part. That's your physical health, your mental health. I think that's something that I kind of ignored for a while because I was just focused on the work thing for so many years. And now kind of spending a little bit more time on that, I'm really seeing the extra clarity that that's helping bring me. And there's also the physical home, whether that's, an apartment or a house or whatever it might be, having a base somewhere in the world to know that, okay, I can drop my stuff here, I can be here, I can be relaxed. As a pretty nomadic person for most of my life, that's never been something that I've had super strongly, but now it's really there. I moved into an apartment in July that it actually feels like home, and for the first time having that really just feels great. Even though I'm not there right now, I know that I have a place to go back to, and that just really means a lot. So yeah, so let's say you want to have a big change in your life. You want to change the city you live in. All right, so you've got your 4-legged stool, change the city, change your home. Cool, no problem. You can do that. But if you want to change the city you live in, change all your friendships, and change your career all at once, and the only thing you have left is whatever personal care routine you have, which probably at that point you're not going to have much time for because you need to figure out 3 new things at once, it gets really chaotic. This principle is really straightforward. Just like if you have the option, just change one of those things at a time. In 2012, I decided to pull the Control-Alt-Delete hard reset, hold the power button and the volume button down for 5 seconds, like just full reset on life, where I lost all my friends, I moved to a new country, changed to a new business, and I had no sense of personal care. And that was really hard, to say the least. And so I think that if you're able to, be in a situation where you can just change one of those things at a time, it'll make the whole process a lot smoother. But you know what? Sometimes it is time to just wipe the decks and just do a full restart. So I'm aware that this concept does have some similarities to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but I think it's just a little bit more practical for everyday life. One of the weirdest, cheesiest things that you hear all the time is actually true. Team is everything. So in business, the team we have now at SoulGuard is incredible. everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's kind of taking ownership and dealing with their stuff. And I've never been able to be so relaxed about the company just functioning, and like stuff's not falling apart. Stuff's doing better than it was when I was kind of overseeing all those areas. So I'm really out of a lot of the day-to-day, which has been my goal for forever with running this business. Focus more on the stuff that I love, which is like product innovation and where can I add value rather than like what do I need to do with some sort of sets of tasks. That's one of the things about having ADHD is it really means that you can focus on certain things really, really well, but you don't always get to choose what those things are. So by being able to not be in any of the day-to-day things, which is where things might fall off, I'm able to be more focused. Got some products coming out soon, got a few new things on the radar for the business. Have a product I've been working on for 5 years, which is a focus tool. For me, like with having ADHD, thinking of ways that I can help other people that struggle with focus. So yeah, that's a whole new set of challenges, and I think that's super fun to be able to tackle something that's really meaningful and I think will impact a lot of people's lives. Hoping to release that in the early part of next year, but really not launching it until it's really ready to go. All the tooling's done, we're just figuring out some software glitches. It's really complicated, but I'm really excited about that. That's one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to. So I'm really trying to also like define what's the next 10 years look like. And I don't know for sure yet, but I do still know that it revolves around ocean health. I know that it revolves around, making the world a better place. It revolves around sustainability. And I think that somewhere in there, there's, carbon capture projects, whatever that might look like. I'm really excited about seaweed forests and kelp forests. Kelp is this like amazing natural collector and sequester of CO2. And there's just finding a way to make carbon capture be the big focus of my life. As I've delved further and further into sustainability, ocean plastic is a massive problem, but it's not as big of a problem as carbon is. Carbon, CO2 is what is the number one cause of global warming. Of course, this is known by most people. But yeah, carbon sequestration that works efficiently using natural systems. I think kelp and seaweed is the number one thing. That's what I'm hoping to learn more about in the coming 6 months. And hopefully by summer of next year have some traction with some projects and figure out what that looks like. But yeah, that's it for me this year. I really just have learned that the slow and diligent process of slowly doing the right things, which is what I've been doing for 10 years, is now finally starting to pay off in a life that's stable and happy. And it's weird. It's so weird for me to get used to. I'm used to so much chaos. So I find myself sometimes wanting to push some little buttons or change some things up and do something chaotic that might change that, because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to the chaos. But actually, having a life that's peaceful and tranquil and successful, I deserve that. You deserve that. We all deserve that. And so if you're able to, take the steps towards building that, it'll take time. It's taken me 12 years. When it comes, all of a sudden, all at once, it's like, wait, what is this? It's so weird for me to experience it, and I'm really fortunate. Thanks so much for listening. I do these every year. This is my 5th year in a row doing it. If you want to look back at the archives, have a look. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will post more of this kind of content. I'll do my best to share as many lessons as I can about what I'm learning as an entrepreneur that's doing something good for the world and hoping to make as much of an impact as possible. Thanks for watching. Happy birthday to me. I'm going to go have some fun on some boats. Bye.